I'm Luke Sherveld. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Gaffer. Today we're going to talk about how a little pre-planning can go a long way to making a job run more smoothly. First off, I'm going to play the piece I'll be talking about, and then we can step through it.
Finally, a benefit solution provider that gets it right. Intuitive, streamlined, empowering. Let's see how Lively is reimagining employee benefits. Lively's innovative technology and robust integration simplify manual HR tasks or automate them altogether. Everything from technical implementation to employee education. I know, right? So easy. Employees using Lively can reduce their out-of-pocket expenses by paying for qualified purchases with the Lively debit card. And the app, Lively got that right too. Employees can check their account balance and get answers to most common questions, anytime, online, or on the go. I love a happy employee, don't you? On top of technology that just works, Lively's knowledgeable agents provide personal responsive service.
Thanks for calling Lively. How can I help you today?
Over 90% of all account holder issues are resolved in the very first interaction. And Lively's NPS score, the rest of the industry doesn't come close. From easy onboarding and setup to a great employee experience, to helping you manage your benefits program, Lively's combination of smart technology and human-centric service raises the bar for the employee benefits you offer. Lively gets it right. Check out Lively today.
A month or so before we did the job, I got a call from producer Matt Townley at Guerrilla Creative. He was putting together a budget for a project that had some particular requirements that he had some questions about. First off, I love that. Instead of just taking a wild guess and putting in a placeholder number that he'd have to worry about later, he went looking for answers. With the help of Previs, the director, Eric Strachey, had figured out that we needed about 25 feet worth of background wall to fit the talent into each of the 3 different scenes that we needed to shoot. The scenes were similar in that the same host talent would be in the foreground, and then different talent and different desks and props would populate the background. The background wall would be a different color in each scene, and it wasn't entirely clear how much of the floor would be seen in front of the wall, because no matter how much you previs, there's always some adjustment on the day of the shoot. So in that first conversation about budget, we went through the different ways we could approach this. Could we set up all the looks in the same area and just swap out the backgrounds? The previs told us that the frame we wanted would require that the background color had to be at least 10 feet up the wall. But if you're going to give yourself a little fudge room, it seems safer to have it at least 12 to 15 feet of coverage up that back wall. So one way to create a colored background would be to use seamless paper, which is mostly available in 9 and 12 foot rolls. If you pulled it out horizontally, you could get 12 feet up the wall, but the floor wouldn't have any coverage. Okay, so seamless wasn't going to work. Lucky for us, we found a stage, Goal Line, out in Pleasanton, that had enough room for 3 separate sets, all the same dimensions, in which each set could have their cyc wall painted a different color. Then we had to think about how we wanted to light these sets and how that would affect setup time. We wanted to light that back wall with flat light, so it would feature as a plain wash of color to accommodate graphics that would be added in post. We wanted the host to be lit the same in each scenario. And then the background talent and set pieces would be a little different from scene to scene, but for the most part, fairly similar. So, working from the back to the front, we could have lit the back wall with space lights, but we only had one day to both light and shoot, no pre-light day. So hanging and wrapping space lights would have meant a certain amount of OT and a fair amount of spill management, because in the previs, it showed that the background talent had to be pretty close to that back wall. On the day, it turned out we were able to pull the background talent further away from the wall, but we didn't know that going in. What we came up with was a plan to construct a rolling truss, basically a goalpost on wheels that would carry the units to light the back wall and hold the host's backlight. That way we could light with panel units instead of the space lights that would concentrate light on the back wall without spilling too much on our background talent. We decided to also put all our other units on rolling stands so that after a given scene was completed, we could just roll everything to the next set, a wholesale move. To make sure we had enough strength through the span of the truss, we decided to go with triangle truss, using truss makers from modern studio equipment. You use the truss makers with speed rail, and then you can make your truss however long you want it. In this case, we used 1.5-inch speed rail because the truss pieces came from Alan Steinheimer, and that's the size he uses. To make sure we had beefy enough stands for the goalpost, I picked up 2 of Alan's Blackbird stands. These are the taller sibling to the Roadrunner stands and are also made by American Grip. They just make life so much easier. Here, Key Grip Jeff Nealon and his best Jay Coakley made it all happen. Meanwhile, my best electric, Alex Seeger, helped me put an Analux Dyno 1200C on a roller with a DOP Choice 5-foot octa. And then we used the Aperture Lightstorm 600C into a medium DOP Choice snap bag using a rabbit rounder adapter for the Bowens mount. We used an Aperture 600X in a dome for an edge, and then an Aperture 600X in a lantern for the background talent, and then added different smaller units as necessary to each of the scenes. Here's the starting list of units in Blackout. I used the Nova 600C profile for the Lightstorm 600C because the fixture had not yet been released. The designated profile has since been added by the developer. Jeff and Jay also had to take care of a Fisher 10 dolly on track for 2 of the sets. It's nice to work on stages like Goal Line where the dolly is already there waiting for you. We added a 2x3 silk as a topper for the backlight because it was sneaking over the host's hair and producing a shine on her forehead. We measured out the relative distance of our units from talent after the first setup and then replicated that in the next 2 scenes. We had to coordinate with the art department before each move so that we could roll most of our units into place before the furniture was put into the scene, which also gave camera time to provide a frame for us all to work from. In the end, this movable setup is not really a big deal. It's nothing we haven't done to some degree in smaller chunks. But it was fun to move everything over like that in one fell swoop. And with the opportunity to do a little pre-planning, we were able to keep moving through our day and get wrapped out in the allotted time.
Everybody, group photo.
Here's the team that made it happen. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.
Finally, a benefit solution provider that gets it right. Intuitive, streamlined, empowering. Let's see how Lively is reimagining employee benefits. Lively's combination of smart technology and human-centric service raises the bar of the employee benefits you offer. Lively gets it right. Check out Lively today.
What's cut?